Hey, you're back in the C Space Studio here at CES 2023, and we are joined by Adrian Baschuk, Vice President, Ethernity, as it says right there on your hat. Welcome to the C Space Studio.
I'm trying to brand here at the conference.
That's right. This is all about branding, especially here in the C Space Studio, so we respect it. But can you tell us about your brand? Can you tell us what Ethernity is? If someone asks what your hat means here at CES, what do you tell them?
Yeah, we are a leading NFT. I'm going to start that again.
Yeah, go for it.
We're a leading NFT platform. We're a 360 platform that's specializing in all things digital assets, digital collectibles, and also moving into the gaming space as well. We have a token. We're on Coinbase, Binance, Huobi, OKX, you name it, everything but FTX, smartly so. And we have a huge community that's very supportive of everything Web3.
So do you work with brands who want to get into the NFT space and have no idea where to start?
Absolutely. We've worked with notable figures, rights, licenses, IPs, brands, car companies, everyone from Messi to the Dallas Cowboys to DeLorean to some very interesting entertainment IPs and properties coming into the space. We handle everything from the top on down, from curation to crypto to minting to wallets to sales and resales, etc.
And when someone comes to you and says, I want to get into this space for the first time, I don't know where to start, where do you start with them? How do you kind of get them into the right mindset to even understand what they're doing here?
Yeah, our team are longtime crypto and blockchain natives. And we understand that the Web3 movement that's kind of been born out of post-COVID 2020 ethos of really individuals over these big entities. And that's where we start in terms of powering individual creators to partner with brands, rights, licenses, IPs. So we bring in the top artists in the space to craft their sort of creative vision and then take things like loyalty programs, ticketing, experiences, even physical items and collectibles, and attach those to collections and drops and really activate these collections and drops in a very layered and tier-mannered sense to involve everybody top on down.
And does that require brands kind of giving up some measure of control and kind of thinking about this in a different way? I imagine there's one way of looking at it from a brand perspective, which is like a very cynical way, like this is just a new way for me to make some money or get in front of people that I have to do this because people are doing NFTs. And there's another way to do it, which is more philosophically aligned to the overall Web3 movement. Do you see both of those mindsets coming into this?
Yeah, I think everything was a cash grab very early on, and then the real players in the space are being determined and the real players that are here for the long term. Because we saw an explosion of entrants into the marketplace after they saw the rush of liquidity come in, which was always sort of foretold and foreseen in terms of the Bitcoin halving happens every 4 years. It happened in 2020, and it creates a major rush and run up in the market. Things then crash, go sideways, which is where we are now in the builder's market, and those sort of entrants that weren't in it for the long haul get washed out, and now the real players are determined. So brands early on in the 2020 craze, it was a cash grab, and now they're seeing the long-term viability and true inclusiveness that they can have with their fans and engagement through all things Web3.
Is the definition of an NFT changing, maybe not from a technical perspective, but from the perception perspective of what a brand and a consumer expects from that?
100%. I like to say that Bitcoin disrupted money, Ethereum and the other blockchains disrupted software, NFTs are disrupting content. It started with art as 2D mimetic JPEG images because it was easy, and artists are the first to disrupt culture. And then there were 3D digital collectibles engaging fans. Now there's loyalty programs, rewards programs, look at Starbucks. And next it'll be gaming and in-game assets as NFTs. That's one of the big areas of growth for us at Ethernity, for example.
Can you give me some examples of what that actually looks like in the gaming space? If I own an NFT or I'm perusing an NFT catalog of gaming experiences, what am I actually looking at?
So we'll launch the game with our avatar PFP project called the Exorians, and then you can equip your avatar with the helmet, the mask, the spaceship, the guns, the boots, the fuel, the food, and use those as your in-game utility forever, trade it in-game, take it to other games once things are cross-chain interoperable, which the industry is moving towards. And it becomes a player-first, an individual-first experience rather than a money-making, company down approach.
And this is certainly an aspect, I think, of powering the metaverse as people understand it, the ability to take these assets from one realm to another, so that if I buy, I mean, in the physical world, this is a great example in Matthew Ball's book about the metaverse. Like if I'm wearing a certain kind of shoes and I go into another shoe store, those shoes don't automatically disappear, right? So we need this technology to be able to be porting these assets from one realm to another.
And it's so early on. I mean, look at the evolution of the internet. You know, these things move in 30-year cycles, and we're just in that, you know, last portion of the adoption of the internet age.
Yeah.
And we like to think that this new crypto, blockchain, Web3 age has just kicked off. And like I said, we've only experimented with art and collectibles. Now everything else is lining up to take form.
What are you most curious about then? Because there's obviously so much to learn and so much more experimentation to do.
I'm curious how people are going to use all these things. And I think fashion is a great you know, outlier, but also ground to see how these things are being used. And you see things like Artifact and Nike acquiring them, Adidas issuing their digital fashion collections and performing extremely well. So they're being used, and the more we can use them, especially with the advent of AR that's coming. I mean, if you go to the floor of CES at the conference hall at the Las Vegas Convention Center, there's a huge portion dedicated to AR, XR, haptics that are happening, and there you can really see and use these digital assets like never before.
Is there going to be a moment when you and I are having this conversation and we'll look back and say, okay, it arrived, that was the moment that we can kind of pinpoint as when it really finally caught on in a major way? I'm being very vague right now because this is a big question, but what do you think that moment, that kind of real coming out would look like?
I think when Apple releases their AR glasses, and you can, again, use these digital NFTs that Artifact released, that we released with Messi and his Argentina jersey that you can use as a wearable.
Yeah.
They win their World Cup, and you can, you know, get the brand new Argentina World Cup winning jersey there, using AR glasses and more. That'll be a huge thing. And it's coming. We're releasing our app next month, for example. We have AR capabilities built in. It'll be through your phone first, but once those lenses integrations happen, it's game over.
You have a background in news, CNN, CNBC. I believe you host a program for CNBC about crypto, blockchain, Web3.
Yep.
Is that right?
Crypto trader.
And so how does that mindset impact the way that you do business and run this business?
I think trends, forecasting, and seeing and covering what's really going on the ground has given me and my team, of course, special insight to know when a trend is real, a trend is hitting, and when to jump in and capitalize and be part of that movement rather than just kind of see it from afar.
And that's really just based on your honed intuition over time. It's still that human intuition coming into play in this very high-tech world.
I like to think so.
Well, Adrian Baschuk of Ethernity, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Much appreciated.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. There's another conversation from the C Space Studio here at CES 2023 coming your way right after this one. I'm James Kotecki. Don't go anywhere.